Why, hello there. If you clicked on this video, most likely you are just like me and you are constantly dreaming about how do I get out of this mundane life that I'm living right now and retire early to a tropical paradise. Well, kids, I'm going to walk you through how I did it and how you can do the exact same thing. If you just listen to me and learn from me a little tiny bit, you can do exactly what I'm doing. I promise you that. Do you know what is staggeringly shocking is that if you ask someone, do you have plans for the weekend? Typically they'll come up with something. If you ask them, do you have plans for the evening or do you have plans for dinner? They have a response for that. However, if you ask them, do you have a plan for your life? They'll look at you with a completely blank stare on their face and you're standing there going, really? Nothing at all? Nothing? I can remember when I first went to Century 21, Peter Kuglin and I sat down and Peter gave me some of the best advice I've ever had in my life. He taught me to build a plan, not just for my business, but for my life as well. And along with a plan, I had to have a goal. A plan is nothing but you going to work every single day for absolutely nothing except for the thrill of going to work. You need to have an end goal, a plan of something. Be it retiring in Thailand. Maybe you want to buy a nice fancy watch. Maybe you want to buy a special car. I don't know what you want, but whatever it is in life that you want to achieve, you have to have a goal and a plan. Now, for me, the plan was simple. I wanted to retire at 55. How was I going to do this? My first goal was, when I joined Century 21, I wanted to pay off my house in 5 years. In order to do that, I figured out that I needed to save about 35% of my income every single year. Luckily enough, because I worked so hard, I was able to accomplish that goal in 3.5 years. Now, I'm not saying that everybody has to, but that is what I did. I made a specific goal and I made it happen. And you can do the exact same thing. My next goal was I wanted to retire at 55, and luckily enough, I'm fortunate enough to be here retired at 49. I literally just turned 49 in December, and 2 months later, I was retired. I can do it, you can do it. And if you just follow some simple things, if you sacrifice here, if you sacrifice there, if you are smart about it, you can do the exact same thing. But my friends, you have to develop a goal. Pick something that you want, and then you build from that as to how you're going to attain it. Nothing in life is possible without a goal. And for that, Peter, I absolutely love you like a brother. And thank you so much for helping me in my journey in life, because I probably would not be here if it wasn't for you. So there we go. Yet another shout out in this video. Can you imagine? I'm just thanking everybody. You have to pay yourself first. Listen, this is very important. I want you to sit down and figure out what percentage of your salary you can take as savings every single paycheck, and I want you to deduct that off of your budget. So if you're clearing $1,000 a week, I want you to figure out, can I save $200 of that? You should be saving an absolute minimum of 20%, if not more, off of every single paycheck that you get. So your budget now is $800. $200 is coming right off the top. Put it somewhere, stash it away, do not touch it no matter what. Okay, this is one thing that I did. My first 5 years, I had planned on saving 35% of my income, and then after that, I wanted to save 50%. I hit those goals, and I was able to achieve what I wanted to do in 9 years instead of 15 years. I sacrificed certain things. I learned to live a certain lifestyle, and my lifestyle again was fantastic, guys. It really was. I mean, I drove beautiful cars, I had beautiful houses, I wore nice clothing. I didn't scrimp on anything. And as you're all aware of, I traveled all around the world in those 10 years. I spent an ungodly amount of money traveling. But you know what? For me, it was worth it. And again, I paid for it by just working harder. And that's all you need to do. If you want to buy something for yourself that you're going to enjoy, just work for it. Work harder. Do something extra to get that money. You can do this. I promise you, you can. It is so simple and easy once you learn to be smart with your money. So this is an extremely important yet unbelievably hard philosophy to learn. Buy what you need, pay for what you want. What I'm talking about here is you need to watch and understand where every dollar you spend comes from, okay? We all have basic needs: food, clothing, shelter. These are things that we have to have, otherwise, well, we're going to starve to death homeless and naked. So let's hope that doesn't happen to anybody watching. But on a serious note, what I'm talking about here is you have to allocate certain money to your basic needs. Anything above your basic needs, to be honest with you, is a want. And you need then to find out, how are you going to pay for the things that you want? You're going to have to work. You might have to work extra. You might have to work longer, overtime, whatever it is, get a second job or something. But you have to understand that anything you want above your basic need is taking money away from your ability to live a life that you're dreaming of or hoping of. So the best way to look at it is this: if you want lobster for dinner tonight instead of cheap chicken, that's going to take away from your ability to spend one day in retirement. That's the way I always looked at it. I know that sounds very basic, but once I got the handle of it, it worked extremely well. Did I want certain things? Oh yes, of course I wanted certain things. Did I buy them? Not all the time, no, because I realized that if I bought this one thing, that's going to take away 2 or 3 months of my living in Thailand or Cambodia, and the trade-off just wasn't worth it. So you do need to understand that you have certain wants and you have certain needs, and the money that you are spending is coming from your effort, and how much effort do you want to put into something that you really honestly don't need. Think about that one. One of the most important things that you can possibly learn in life is this: do not listen to these idiots that tell you to throw your credit cards away and cut them up. That is the absolute worst advice that you can possibly listen to. What you want to do is you actually want to learn how to use your credit. Get a credit card, use it all of the time. Make sure you pay it off at the end of the month though, so that you have no balance, because there's nothing worse than giving the banks money for free. Trust me. The best way that you can make your life easier is to have good credit. So you're going to pay your bills on time. You're going to get a credit card. You're going to use that credit card all the time, but you're going to pay it off every single month. Listen to me when I tell you this. Nothing is more important than credit. Credit makes most of the biggest purchases you're going to ever make in your life so much cheaper for you. If you have good credit, your mortgage payment is going to be so much lower than somebody that does not have good credit. If you're buying a car is going to be so much cheaper for you if you have good credit as opposed to not having good credit. Trust me when I tell you this. You want to have good credit. Use credit. Credit is king. Learn to like washing dishes. Guys, if I can give you one really important tip, it is this: don't eat out every single week. Make it just a special occasion thing, because the amount of money you're wasting by eating out will absolutely scare you. I ran the numbers a couple of years ago, and I was saving anywhere between $3,500 to $4,500 a year by not eating out. You know what? You go out, have a couple of drinks, next thing you know, you're getting a $70, $80 tab. And it's unbelievable, because you could have the exact same meal at home with probably twice as many drinks for a quarter of that price. So that's one way that I saved a ton of money, was by eating at home. And I always joked about the fact that my favorite food was whatever's on sale. So when I went to the grocery store, I would buy, honestly, whatever meat was on sale. If it was pork, I ate a lot of pork and I learned to like pork. chicken. If chicken was too expensive, I just simply didn't buy it. Steak, I would only buy strip loin steaks when they were on sale. And typically I only ate strip loins because that's the only cut of beef that I really enjoy. So if I'm going to spend money on something that I enjoy, I'm going to buy exactly what I want. But again, I only bought it when it was absolutely at rock bottom prices. I wasn't paying $30 a kilogram for steaks. No way, it's not going to happen. That's absolutely insane. The maximum I would spend would usually be about $12, about $6 a pound, and that was it. Learn to wash the dishes, kids. You will save a ton of money. Scott McGilvery became so successful in life not only because he had fantastic hair, but because of Income Property on HGTV. I'm going to tell you something. He had the greatest idea possible to show people what you can do by having an income property as your primary residence. Listen, I'm going to tell you something. As a 27, 30-year-old kid, you do not need a McMansion. It's an absolute waste of your money. What you want to do is you want to find a property where somebody else is paying your mortgage, i.e., you want an income property. Find a place that has an in-family, it has an apartment attached to it, whatever. But you want to get something where you can actually have someone pay your mortgage. This is the greatest way to buy a home. And I'm going to tell you something. In 18 years in real estate, there were very few people that bought them. The people that did buy them are so far ahead of everyone else today. It is staggering. So please, listen to me when I tell you this. Don't buy the McMansion today. Buy an income property. Get ahead in life. Then, when you get into your middle 30s, get your big fancy house. You honestly don't need one today. It's an absolute waste of money. Hey, look, I'm all for shopping local when you can, so long as it's not to your own financial detriment. What I mean by this is you need to be very smart when you're spending your money. Remember, that's your hard-earned money, and you shouldn't allow anybody to tell you how to spend it or where to spend it. Listen, I'm going to give you the best example. I got a lot of grief from some friends of mine for not buying my car parts at the local dealerships or the local outlets. And here's why I didn't do it. Brakes for my Mercedes were $850 at the local shop. I could get those same brakes delivered to my door, so I didn't have to take the time out of my day to go buy them in the first place, for $250. The exact same brakes. So I was saving $600 every brake job. And when you drive as much as I do, typically you're going to do a brake job in your car every year. So I was saving $600 a year just by buying my brakes off of Amazon. Yes, again, you know what? Support your local farmer, support the guy that's working really hard, but again, not to your detriment, okay? Don't spend $5 on a loaf of bread when you can go spend $1.29 somewhere else. I know that's a bad example, but it makes sense if you really think about it, okay? So shop local when you can, but not to your detriment. Picture this. One day I'm sitting there having a conversation with a friend of mine about how expensive groceries are when the subject of saving money came up. And I simply stated that when bacon is on sale for like $2, maybe $3 a package, I buy 20 to 25 packs at a time. And my buddy looked at me like I was absolutely crazy. And he's like, I'd be so embarrassed to go and do that. And I'm like, wow. Why would you be embarrassed to save money? I'd be more embarrassed to go and pay $7 a pack for bacon. It's not as though the cute little cashier is going to fall in love with you because you're buying one pack of bacon at a time as opposed to buying 20 or 25 when it's on sale. I would be absolutely embarrassed to spend $7 a pack on bacon. No. Guys, listen. You cannot be embarrassed to save money.